Okay, so recently there's been a lot of news surrounding Mythic Talent. Now, if you don't know, Mythic Talent is a company that we've covered quite a lot on this channel recently, especially with the stuff to do with Fillion, obviously leaving for whatever reason that may be after the whole We Play Studios drama went down. But also they've announced some new stuff coming out, which I thought was pretty interesting, as it's been met with quite a bit of backlash. Now, yeah, as I said, if you don't know who Mythic Talent are, honestly, I might actually consider them now as one of the bigger EN kind of corporations that handle VTubers, right? Because they've got all of these massive VTubers signed onto them. I mean, pretty much all of the big independent creators that aren't a part of, the big ones like Hololive or whatever, right? I usually signed with these. You got Nyanners, Nux, OK Code, Shylily, Rima. So many of the biggest VTubers are a part of this. And yeah, I mean, I could consider them partially a kind of VTuber organization. Obviously, they do have a ton of other creators as well who are signed on too. But essentially what they've done is they've announced a new, really cool kind of webcomic series, which is coming. Obviously, as you can see here, like different creators. You've got Asmongold there. Also, I just realized I have to mute this because of the because of the audio. That is not a good idea. That is baby metal. I do not have the rights to play that. But as you can see here, it looks really cool. The animation looks sick. You got Sarai there. So many big VTubers, so many other creators as well mixed into this. And it seems like this could be a pretty cool kind of series, right? It's got some of the top talent in Mythic Talent. And yeah, this is kind of like the screenshot of all of them there, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, it seems like some people aren't so happy with this. Now, they did leave a link to the actual page here, and I think whenever you see it, it starts to become a little bit cringe, to be honest. I can't understand where a lot of people are coming from, because obviously, it said, yo, what's good, chat? We all made a webcomic, and yeah, you can see here, this is like what the kind of style is going to be like, and how it's going to go forwards, right? So, again, I do think it's a good idea, obviously, from, Mythic Talent to reach out to something like this, like a webcomic, like an anime, like something like that, because again, obviously it does provide a little bit of depth, and it gives you projects that you've worked on as a kind of talent company that you can show off to investors and stuff, which I think is really cool. But obviously a lot of people over on Kurosanchi have not been happy in the comments. People say featuring big VTubers and IRL streamers, awesome. I don't know, it feels like it's going to be a cringe fest. He says, I am cringe, but I am free. The Manga Bible versus Marvel Mangaverse. It said, I'm not going to lie, it's probably going to be entertaining because it's cringe, which, yeah, could be true. I mean, there is some mixed opinions on this. I think some people are not very happy, some people are just very uninterested, and some people are very excited, And I think there is a real breadth of that. Now, obviously, yeah, I think some people think it's going to be a cringe fest, obviously because of the implications of, like, obviously there's CaseOh there, there's Asmongold there, a lot of, like, IRL creators mixed in with VTubers, whereas I think a lot of, VTuber fans would prefer it to be just VTubers, and then they could do an IRL series as well if they wanted to, but I think it would make more sense in the kind of VTuber lore sphere, because, let's be honest, like, CaseOh and Asmongold don't have their own, like, VTuber lore, if you get what I mean, I think it would fit better to have just VTubers, but again, I don't know. Maybe, obviously, they do need to include all of their talent, right? Some people, obviously, the main part that people were kind of pointing out is Asmongold being a part of it, saying, I see Asmongold not worth it. And obviously, that's got 68 upvotes compared to this post, which has got 0, right? So a lot of people are not happy at the fact that, Asmongold is being included in this. As an Asmon, I'm fine, thanks. Now, me personally, I don't dislike Asmon. I like Asmon quite a bit. I think he's a pretty genuine guy, but at the same time, obviously, I can understand that a lot of people out there don't like him, right? And that's why a lot of people have not included him in certain events and not in certain just stuff that goes on in the VTuber, not just VTuber space, any space, to be honest, a creator space, because again, obviously he is like this person who is, you know, if you say his name, there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to be happy, right? And we've seen that with the whole Valkyrie stuff that happened recently, whenever she DM'd him behind the scenes to ask how to deal with a lot of the hate that she was getting, and then told her stream that she was DMing Asmongold, and then they got even more angry because she was DMing Asmongold, which I thought was quite funny. And obviously, yeah, people say Mythic Pass. There's some people as well who have a dislike to Mythic too, which obviously, yeah, there has been some other stuff behind the scenes, I'm pretty sure, apart from the Fillion thing and everything like that, which everybody's been kind of speculating about. So it will be interesting to see, you know, if anything else comes out about that. People said Mythic, yeah, no. So it is a mix of people saying Mythic and Asmongold are the reasons that they are going to be passing on this. You know, people saying very cool, wondering why nobody has done something like that except from the cool Hololive Holostar comics, where Risu is the protagonist. That it's expensive to produce and most agencies focus on other things. But I'm pretty sure Shiori Novella already has a manga. I said, I mean, more like a crossover manga fan made. Like, I know it's expensive and all that, but I remember back in the day seeing so many cool comics of their favorite YouTubers, and so it's wild to see that there's not many of them. Say Myth's Bad Ending and other super projects are not a smart standard for fan art. So yeah. They go on to talk about Mythic Talent, the company with Asmon, who says that people need to be for voting a certain way. The company of Kyosha as well. Do we want to get into their latest grab of, yeah, obviously they're saying stuff about legal mindset. So again, I think it is a lot of people's hatred towards some people in Mythic Talent. I think that's something that Mythic Talent are going to face quite a bit, because again, it seems like they're very flexible with who they have in their kind of company, and I think that's totally fine. You know, they're allowed to have whoever they want. They're allowed to have Asmongold. They're allowed to have Kyosha. They're allowed to have legal mindset, right? And you know, regardless of what you think of them, I like all of them. I think they're all right? But Mythic Talent, obviously, you know, that they hire a lot of people, or hire a lot of people. They kind of work for a lot of people, right? So you're going to have a kind of crossover where people are going to be unhappy with one person being in the same talent agency, etc., etc. So I think it is just something that comes with having such a large talent agency, that some people are going to be unhappy that, yeah, someone that they don't like is in it, and then will probably not interact with their products, right? But seriously, Mythic Talent has one good thing going for them, IMO. It gives sponsors to VTubers, and as you can see, yeah, you know, they're very much into it for the VTubers, and they're very much not into it for Asmongold or Kyosha or Legal Mindset, right? So they're saying, I was not expecting Shylily and Sayu, of all people, to willingly associate with a project of Asmongold. Very disappointed, but it is what it is, I guess. So yeah, also a lot of people are unhappy with, yeah, obviously them being in the same kind of thing as Asmongold, but also you got to be kind of understanding that potentially this was just a thing that Mythic brought to them, and they haven't, you know, it's not like they've been kind of talking with Asmongold directly about it. And I'm unsure how Asmongold is even kind of involved with the project, because again, I don't think I've ever seen him talk about it over on one of his live streams or on one of his videos, right? So again, I don't even know if he even knows it's going on, right? So I think there's also the factor of like, how involved are these people in this? Is it just them using their likeness to kind of create a webcomic? Or is it like, are they actually fully like kind of planning it themselves? I'm not sure. But people saying they're both in Mythic. I know Sayu is in Mythic for sure. I've seen him listed on their site. And I think Shylily is with them too, which, yeah, is true. And they said, I don't know why Lily is with Mythic anyways. She co-owns Gamer Subs, who makes merch and does sponsors themselves, which that's just not a very good point there. Gamer Subs is a sponsor, whereas Mythic Talent is a talent agency, right? The talent agencies do a lot for you in terms of sponsors and in terms of other things. Like Gamer Subs can't do anything with their sponsors. Obviously, Gamer Subs can sponsor you with Gamer Subs, but they're not going to be able to get you sponsors for games, for big kind of things that are going on, which obviously Shylily has been doing. So again, she does need someone like Mythic Talent, and you know, obviously Mythic Talent is the biggest kind of one out there at the moment who can provide her with a lot of these opportunities, right? So it does make sense why she is with Mythic 100%, because again, I think it is one of the top kind of talent agencies to be with, regardless of what you think about the people in it, regardless of how you think they run the company, right? They are still one of the most popular ones and have a lot of pull whenever it comes to bringing in sponsors for creators. So yeah, people saying, yeah, that's so wild. Obviously, CaseOh by Oshi. that said, wait, what's the problem with Asmongold? He said that all Japan VTuber companies are bad and Western VTuber companies are bad. So I think it's a lot of people misunderstanding, obviously, what he's saying as well. Again, people are saying it can be boiled down to not actually going into the, clips themselves. But yeah, obviously, I think the main kind of backlash that they've been facing from some people is the fact that Asmongold is included, which again, can be understandable if you don't like him. But as I said, there's very mixed opinions on him. As I said, me personally, I don't mind Asmongold. I like him. I think he's all right. Obviously, some of the stuff he can say can be extremely questionable, right? But I think that overall, I think he's a good guy. But again, obviously, that's just down to your opinion as well about this kind of stuff. But as well, on the actual trailer itself, it seems like the dislikes aren't too bad. It's only 136. So again, it seems like this is a more isolated incident over on Reddit of people being unhappy with that being included. And also, it's not just Asmon that they're, not very happy about. It's just Mythic as a whole. So again, they don't really like Mythic. And also, they don't like the fact, I forgot what they said now. They don't like the fact of some other stuff as well. Oh, including IRL kind of streamers being involved with VTubers as well. I think that's also another factor that people kind of consider. So again, I do think it's interesting. I think it's a very, very, interesting thing overall, because again, it's a mix of a lot of different creators from a lot of different backgrounds. Of course, there might be a little bit of I guess, unhappiness with some interacting with others. But again, I don't think it's the end of the world. It's just a comic, and I don't think that a lot of these creators are that heavily involved in it. Now, obviously, yeah, they're probably involved to some degree in terms of their own characters and their own story, but I don't think that, it's anything too kind of hands-on with them. So I wouldn't worry too much. Obviously, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, because again, I'm very interested in what you guys have to say about it, and whether you think that, this is a good idea or not, and whether you'll be reading something like this. Again, me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of webcomics or anything, and it just doesn't seem like it has that much built up around it for me to really read it. But at the same time, I can understand why some people would, because obviously it's got a lot of their favorite creators in there as well. But if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go over to GameStop, use my code CaseOh, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking that out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.